The Kid Laroi, or 2021 and 2022 me would have called the GOAT Laroi. I was a massive Laroi meat writer back then. Is Juice's Australian protege, but he's been making music for a few years longer, since he was like 13 and he's like 20 now. Until now, he only has one album, Fuck Love, which is fire, and this album has about 2 or 3 different deluxe versions, and most of the songs are bangers except Don't Leave Me.
That shit is a 2-pack of ass.
Well, if you haven't heard any version of the album, it's basically him talking about himself changing in different ways due to bad romantic relationships and friendships. Along with this, one of the big themes was losing a close friend, Juice WRLD, and some family stuff. Now, this album is home to some of my favorite songs by him, like About You, Lonely and Fucked Up, Attention, So Done, Always Do, and pretty much every other song on the album except Don't Leave Me. Highly recommend you listen to the album after watching this video. Now, one of these standout songs is Selfish, one of my favorite songs. I would actually talk about the music video, but the video doesn't really explain the song as well as it could, like in the last video I did about Juice WRLD's Lean With Me. The song is about this girl treating him like shit, which is a relatively common theme on the album. She treated him like shit during their time together, but he appreciates it because now he knows what negative traits to look for in a partner. And contrary to belief that all women are these perfect angels that can never do any wrong, as most of us are taught as younger boys, which is obviously wrong. He's cried himself to sleep for a bit, which is pretty normal, you know, whenever you fall out with someone, whether it be a friend, a parent, partner, pet, or whatever else. Soon after this, he becomes a fuckboy and uses a way that she treated him to treat other women like shit. He's gonna keep acting like this, doesn't care about it, won't listen to his friends' opinions on it, and he doesn't want to change. And that's some real shit, you know? It happens, you know? There's this phrase that hurt people, which is kind of true and false at the same time. Now, you know, I get it and everything, you know, it's basically just an excuse to be a dickhead, disguised as this super hurt person that can never do any wrong. Now for this, you know, now with this, for dudes, you know, because it's completely different for women that aren't at the bottom of the attractiveness scale. Now for dudes, there are 2 types of you. There are the ones that can afford to do this, you know, now once again, excluding money, fame, and all that. You pretty much have to be very, very, very cute, handsome, or hot in order to pull it off. Granted, I'm not saying it's good, because it's not, but that's, I guess, one option you can afford to do instead of healing, if you can do it. Think about it like this. If you're a very objectively attractive dude, and each girl or guy, whatever you're into, you know, it's 2023, doesn't reject you, you get mostly matches on dating apps or whatever, you can afford to keep treating them like shit, like how those partners from your past treated you. Now the mid guys and below, you can't afford to do this, but even if you wanted to, it's not beneficial in the slightest. Getting dates or whatever is already hard as fuck for you. So let's say you go up to maybe 50 women or so and approach them in a normal, appropriate, and kind way, assuming you also smell normal, you're also not weird and stuff like that. You'll maybe get 25 to 30 numbers if you're lucky. Some of those may be fake, some you may talk to for a bit and get ghosted, some you may go on a date with and maybe that date may continue for a bit. Some of those dates you might get ghosted after, maybe just no response, and a bunch of other things. So you basically have no option but to heal, deal with your issues and stuff, because it's just a numbers game for everybody. Otherwise, you have time to deal with them because you have so many options. Unless you're the type that want to settle down as soon as possible if you're in either situation, like me. The more average looking section. In my last video, I kind of talked about some stuff from my perspective. If you didn't watch it, you know, I highly recommend watching it. A lot of people really related to the video and felt the connection to it. You know, but for me at least, I had a lot of issues with women, still kind of do. In high school, I was basically kind of a loser, you know, kind of, but not really. And went to an all-boys high school to top it off. I did some computer science club thing outside of school for my high school years, and it was pretty much the only way for me to meet like girls in person. Besides the one school dance that I went to freshman year, the occasional girl I'd see at a bus stop every day, maybe at the store, blah blah blah. Then, late 2020 hit. I just found out about the Kid Laroi after Let Her Go dropped on Lyrical Lemonade. Been a fan ever since. Fast forward to, let's say, like mid 2021, around May, I meet this girl, let's call her C, that was also an incoming freshman at my university. Long story short, I shoot her DM, she's into me, and we're flirting for like a week. Then she has to go to another state that's maybe a 2.5 hour drive from her house. This is important because while we were talking, she's a dog shit driver, and I wouldn't even trust her driving me on bumper cars, if I'm gonna be honest. The night before she leaves, we're talking on FaceTime for a bit and chilling, and I tell her to hit me when she wakes up, leaves, stops to eat after the highway, gets to the place, and so forth. And she's like, alright, fine, I'll do that, thank you. She only hit me when she got there, not when she was getting ready to leave and stuff, like I told her, which had me confused because she agreed to do this due to her bad driving habits. So I kept texting her and sent her maybe 10 to 12 texts in the span of a few hours, then got told, you remind me of my stalker ex, and it was over. Now, if you take it from my perspective, I clearly just wanted to know that she was safe. It was a long trip to an unfamiliar area as a bad driver, but apparently I was being creepy. This is one of the main catalysts to my villain arc, in case you couldn't guess. And by villain arc, I don't mean doing what the song is talking about. I thought about it though, you know? I just didn't see a reason to ruin a possible relationship with a really cool girl because of my own bullshit and my own problems that I need to deal with. This was the time where I listened to pretty much nothing but Laroi and pretty much just felt sorry for myself. Which is obviously useless, but at least I learned from the experience of how not to behave. So fast forward a bit later, I'm going on dates relatively consistently, maybe 2 or 3 a month, not too bad, although most didn't lead to a relationship like I hoped. Well, none of them, actually. After this and some other reasons, I had a lot of jade in my heart. I wanted to hurt them emotionally like they did to me. On a few of the chances I had, you know, I'd play with their emotions in a way that wasn't super obvious, so I could still seem like the good guy, even though I wasn't. Use them just to hang out and not be bored, have some company even if I didn't find them attractive, or maybe just to play with their dog or their cat. Now around this time, when people like Andrew Tate, Sneako version 3, Fresh and Fit, and all of those other people started coming up and popping off, this didn't really do anything for me. It was just like the same basic advice all the time. Go gym, get money, dress well, blah 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 blah. Same generic advice everyone else was saying. I mean, granted, it usually works, but there's other like mental stuff that you also have to deal with too, and some other stuff, because that doesn't solve all your problems. You know, even though it was the same generic advice, I needed something different. I very quietly had a strong distaste towards women because of that stuff. I wouldn't look at you. Well, if you weren't already one of my friends, I wouldn't look at you. If you asked for a pen, I'd ignore you. If you asked me for directions, I'd ignore you. Like, it was honestly at the point where if you weren't already a female friend of mine and you were on fire, I wouldn't even spit on you. Like, that bad. And to clarify, I was never one of those dudes that would talk about this stuff, all this woman and man dynamics, say what color is your Bugatti, constantly speaks about Sneako or Tate clips and all that. I was just annoyed for my outcomes and took it out on others that didn't deserve it. This didn't really do anything for me, so I just swapped towards like being indifferent, which was a better choice. Started to work on myself more, emotionally mostly, as well as physically. Gym consistently starting the day I got back to school for the spring semester of this year, so like, January 9th or 10th. Started wearing some cologne just to feel a little bit better about myself, you know, continue my skincare routines, slept better, started to dress better, let go of all that stuff, and recently started to see some pretty good gym gains after only like 2 or 3 months, which also upped my confidence. Holding on to that stuff really does nothing for you at all. You're just letting a bunch of negative stuff from people that you used to talk to fester in you and take that out on other people that didn't even do anything to you, which is crazy. Like, logically, if you think about it, it doesn't even make sense. If a few white people are rude to you, does that mean that all white people are rude? If a large, unidentified breed of stray dog aggressively chases you up a hill with your suitcase and a book bag while staying at a host family's house in the middle of nowhere in Guatemala, does that mean that all dogs are going to do that? Maybe, but you get the point. And yes, that was oddly specific because that happened to me in 2018. But, you know, if you meet someone really good, you'd be an idiot to fuck it up just to stick it up to someone you stopped talking to and caring about a long time ago. Look, you gotta deal with your issues, man. Being the toxic dude that's blocked by all their exes isn't cool. You know, I get it. You have a lot of hate in your heart or however else you feel because of how other people treated you in prior romantic relationships. But treating other people badly because of them just isn't the way, you know? I've been there, kind of, and I regret that. Think of it like this. If you have, like, let's say an unlucky streak of like 25 or 30 with romantic partners. You meet a really great one that genuinely wants you, and you fuck it up because of your issues that have nothing to do with her or him, you know, whatever you're into. You had a 31 streak and you may never find someone that good in your life again. That's completely possible. There was this one really good clip I heard from Amps Phantom the other day at like the most random time. I was just scrolling through YouTube shorts, and I just want to share it real quick.
Every female has another. He said every female has another. And like, if they don't, they have somebody.
Yo, listen.
Ivy with them.
If she fool you, she's fool you.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Yeah. For sure.
It don't matter what you do.
Mm-hmm.
When she's for you, she's for you.
Mm-hmm.
Then if the day she not for you, that's the day she not for you. That's it. She gone. You know what I mean? Like.
Now, you know, what do you guys think about the song Selfish? Is there a song or album from a very popular artist that I should talk about? Feel free to share your opinions and thoughts below. Okay, so this is the end of the video. So if you want to listen to the end, you know, feel free. But if not, you know, no worries. But yeah, as far as the last video, holy shit, I did not expect the last video to blow the fuck up like that. I guess a lot of people just really felt what I was saying, and a lot of other people in my space, which is like video essay stuff about music, like pretty much never talk about that stuff ever. All the ones that I've seen at least are pretty much just like, oh, here's a story, here's a little bit of a background, blah blah blah. It's never like how this relates to me or how it's personal, and I'm really glad that I was able to have like a positive effect on thousands of people's lives, and I'm really glad about that because that's what I want to do. So as far as future content, most of my content is going to continue to be like this because the like previous version of my channel, I made videos like older Sneako, like the, what do you mean, like more deep introspective content with like really great editing and cinematography and all that. And I'm gonna try and mix that with Gerber Johnson, his stuff, if you know what that is. Really great YouTuber. You should check him out too, for other content. They're remotely similar-ish to this, with other like just music stuff relating to music. Recommend that you go check those out. And as far as like Instagram DMs and stuff like that, to the like few people that have DM'd me on Instagram, I do appreciate it, and I'm not necessarily ignoring you. It's just more that like I'm usually more of a private person, but I took a risk on the last video, and that did really well because stuff that I was talking about and like I experienced really resonated with a lot of other people. And it just kind of feels weird to me, like reaching out to other people to talk about it, I guess so soon, you know. But you know, I do appreciate that, and I'll respond soon. I just need like another maybe week or so to like not feel as weird about it. But yeah, you know, if you enjoyed the video, feel free to like and subscribe. I know I don't really like ask to like and subscribe or whatever. I pretty much just like put it at the end of the video. But yeah, you know, thank you and have a good day.
Lately I've been losing it. They